wirket Wunder an seinem Geweihte. Wenn ich ihn rufe, erhöret mich der Herr.
Hey there! Today I'm going to talk about this pen, which is, whoops, I nearly dropped it. This is the Jinhao 505. I got this, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what I paid, but it was only a couple of dollars. It's one of those fairly Chinese cheap pens you can pick up via eBay. It didn't come in a box, just came in bubble wrap, fine with me. And it had one of these little hanger things, which actually says Jinhao on one side and something I cannot read on the other side that may very well be Jinhao in Chinese characters or something. In any case, what about the pen? Well, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I'll cover the parts and I'll do a writing sample, and that's pretty much it. Now, first of all, a lot of these Jinhao pens are based on other designs by other pen makers. I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be. At first I thought something like maybe a Parker Sonnet. You had this sort of metal thing going on. Then I saw the clip and it has this opening, and that's a typical Waterman feature. And then I suddenly thought about my Waterman Carène gunmetal, and I thought, well, there is a resemblance, but I'm still not sure whether it's supposed to be like this pen. Maybe it's just a completely original design. If anyone recognizes this, then I would actually be interested to know what this was based on, because I missed the reference, I guess. Okay, so the pen parts. Well, on top of the cap we have a black thing, which is a bit spooky. It's like an eye. I see. It's a bit scary. I got some Lord of the Rings things going on there. Okay, well then, we have the clip. The clip is pretty tight, but in a good way, not too tight to be useful. Then we get something, I kind of enjoy that. I can't really show you at this distance, but you get some rings here. Very fine rings etched in. Below that is the 505, the model name, and the whole thing is made of chrome, I guess, something like that. I like the cap, actually. It's a nice sort of, it has some feel and weight to it. I enjoy that. Okay, then we have the barrel. The barrel has this nice sort of reticular design with these facets, nicely rounded off. There are no sharp angles or corners in there. I really like that. I think it looks pretty cool, actually. And below there, that's just the sort of blind cap. It's just the end of the barrel. It's not really a blind cap, which has a mirror finish, so I can actually see myself in there. I like that. Okay, so it's a heavy pen. Maybe just for the fun of it, I should weigh it. I'm thinking something along the lines of 50 grams. 50 grams exactly. Heavy pen, and pretty big. It's not the biggest pen I've ever used, but it's not a small one either. Okay, then we have the grip section has this reticular thing. Again, I can't really show you a close-up, but I think you can see just a little bit, right? There's sort of net, thing going on there. The nib has two characters on it, which may be the same. Yep, so I'm guessing Jinhao. It has some etchings on there of an object I don't really recognize. Is that a head with a beard? Well, I really don't know. Some etching with curls and stuff, and there's a regular breathing hole and nothing too spectacular. Again, you can't see it. You can't see the details, but that's okay. It's not that spectacular. Just a stainless steel nib, no gold plating. I thought it would be fine, but it's actually I would say medium, which is nice. On a lot of these Asian pens, you get really fine nibs, and I prefer broader nibs. So for me, that's really cool. You can unscrew the barrel, and out comes this cartridge. Now I'll come back to the cartridge in a second. It came with a converter, Actually, I'll come back to that in a second. The nib and the feet are friction fit. You can just pull them out, and that's very useful for cleaning it. And that's it. So you have this nice tapered thing for the grip. Because of this reticular stuff going on there, it's pleasant to hold. Your fingers won't really slip. You get a nice little ring there too to really make sure your fingers don't slip. I thought it was pretty comfortable to hold. When you post it, you get a pretty big pen, but it's not ridiculously huge. So I really thought that the design and the size and the weight of this pen is very good, but only if you like heavier pens. If you like lighter pens, this won't work. Now, why am I so worked up? Why am I screwing up my text a bit here? Because of the converter. It came with a weird converter. You can disassemble it, as with most of these Jinhao converters, and when I did that, out came this weird metal thing. Now this is actually a spring. It's, one of those sort of collapsed springs you would find in a ballpoint pen or something. Why is that in there? You can see it sort of fits in, but why? Well, anyway, that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that I dunked the section with the converter attached in a bottle of ink, and I twisted this, pushed out the air, and I pulled this back, and the piston moved back, and there was no ink drawn up. Now, sometimes it happens. You have to do that a couple of times. There's nothing strange with that. But nothing happens. There was no ink being drawn up at all. So I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a problem with and really, I mean, the nib was submerged all the way. There was nothing I did wrong. It just didn't work. So I thought, well, maybe this converter doesn't like to be filled like that. Let's just put it into the ink directly, right? You can put the whole converter into the ink, then twist this, and then some ink was drawn up. So I thought, okay, well, that can happen. I don't really mind. I pull it out of the ink, and the ink just flew out. It just bloop, and it was gone. So I thought, okay, that's a bit odd. Let's try again. So I did it again. It doesn't hold any ink. Now, what's the point in having a converter if it doesn't hold any ink? I don't know. A bit useless, I would say. Now, maybe I got a faulty one. I don't know. Anyone got this pen with a working converter? Let me know. Maybe it's just mine. I won't have it replaced or anything. I got some. It holds standard international cartridges, so I don't really mind. I just put some ink in an empty cartridge I had lying around and put that in, and it worked. So it's not a big issue, but of course, if you buy a pen, then you would actually expect the converter to work. So that's a bit of an issue. Now, apart from that, what do I think about the pen? I love it. The nib was smooth out of the box. I may do a little bit of additional smoothing just for fun. It was wet. I've had some Chinese pens that were very dry. This one's not. Again, straight out of the box. Nice weight. I like the looks. I think it's pretty cool. This is not for everyone, but I kind of like this sort of high-tech, weird, faceted look. Pleasant to use. Nice size. I don't have any issues, apart from the faulty converter. But, you bear with it, and you just go on. So that's it. More than enough talk. I think I should do a writing sample, and that's all there's to it. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go. The nib was kind of fine, I think, but I guess it's closer to a medium, really. I mean, this is, even for an Asian pen, I mean, this is clearly not a fine nib, I would say. The ink here is, let me think, diamine. Burnt sienna, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's what we've got. Let's do some writing. I keep hitting the part of my tripod. Let's try it like this. Unpost it. Okay, so Writing is smooth. Is it the smoothest I've ever felt? No. But, you know, it's not an extremely expensive pen, right? So I think it's actually not bad at all. Fast writing, I don't really see any skipping. There was a little bit there, but that's just once. I don't think that's particularly bad. Now let's have a look at some line variation. I apply more pressure as we go. This was not skipping, this was me actually lifting the pen from the paper. Okay, so we get some line variation. I wouldn't say it's extremely pronounced. But what you can see here is the nice shading this brings out. So that's actually a good thing. See that here. Okay, let's do a little bit of coloring. See, this is a pretty nice and even patch of ink. It's a fairly wet pen, actually. Excuse me. Some of these Chinese pens I've used tended to be a bit dry. This one I think is nice and pretty wet, which is what I like in a pen, so that's a good thing. So yeah, I think what we have here is a pretty nice pen. I enjoy using it. The nib is definitely okay. So if you're looking for a somewhat interesting looking faceted all metal pen, you could consider this. Just beware of the cartridge of the converter issue, and that's it. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.